Hello and welcome to the W. Mason Coaches Report. My name is Rachel, joined today by head women's basketball coach Danielle Santos Atkinson. Coach, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing well, thank you.
Great. So Pride had a tough outing against LIU and Howard this past weekend, but Howard last Sunday, plenty of positives to build on. Lots of season highs, points, field goal percentage, assists, steals. So let's talk about that game a little bit and what are some things that you liked from that game?
Well, definitely in our LIU game, I thought we had a better start. And so that's one of the things that we've been harping on is how we come out and how we start with our intensity and our energy. We had a much better start in that game. We had some lulls throughout the game that we've talked about, that we've been working on, and hopefully that we've grown from, which caused us an uphill battle. But the way we came out was a lot better. I was also pleased with how our people on the bench came off. I think the players that came off the bench did a great job of raising our intensity level, bringing us some energy, and bringing us some rebounding, which we needed at a really crucial time.
And you mentioned the fast start off to LIU. How is that something? Is that something that you can work on during practice this week, or is that something that you work on during the game and you feed off of during the game?
Definitely work on it in practice. We've done some things in our practice where we start with live situational stuff, with live competitive stuff, to where you've got to be ready to go right away. And so instead of coming out and drilling at the very beginning and kind of easing into practice, we've started coming out and doing some competitive stuff and some live situational game type things right away in practice to help make sure that we're focused and we're ready to go from the start, and to show that we don't have time to ease into games, to ease into practice. So that's what we've been working on.
And there are a couple names I want to point out for this week. Jalynn Hines, we always talk about how she's a leader on the court, but over the last two games, a double-double, also shooting 47% from the floor. But how can the team continue to feed off Jalynn heading into these next couple games?
I think they've got to continue to feed her the ball, first and foremost, and just keep continuing to motivate her to stay aggressive. Outside of that, they've just got to, again, make sure that they're ready and they're available. People are going to key in on Jalynn because of how well she's been playing. So they've got to stay ready themselves. And so when Jalynn has her opportunities, great. When she's covered and defended, then now she's going to look to find out, and they've got to be ready as well.
And then a name we haven't talked about this season, Micaiah Krosky. She saw 10 minutes on the floor against LIU, 7 points, three rebounds, all offensive. So what kind of spark can Micaiah provide off the bench despite not seeing that many minutes per game?
Yeah, so Kai had a great week of practice leading up to the LIU game, which really gave me confidence to go to her right away and to put her in the game. And so she brings something that Jalynn and Mary don't have and don't bring, which is the physicality in the paint. And so Mary and Jalynn are very physical. Their strengths are face up to the basket. They can score back to the basket. But Kai's strength is back to the basket scoring and her physicality. And she brings that, and that's what she brought in the LIU game and what she can bring to our team. And she showed that this past weekend.
Okay, now looking ahead, you have 2 games this week, Morgan State and Fairfield. So Morgan State 3-5 this year, only 1 win against a Division I opponent. One of their top players is a forward. So do you see your forwards, as we just talked about, getting a couple extra, workouts in the paint?
Yeah, for sure. They're going to have to defend, as you said, their strengths in the inside, and they have very versatile post players, and so we've got to be ready to defend. We've got to be ready to defend on the ball as well as our help side behind the ball. Morgan State's a great team, and we got to make sure we come out ready to go.
And then Saturday, another away game at Fairfield. Fairfield does have 1 game ahead of our game on Saturday, but 1-4 this season, averaging under 50 points. So it's hard to not look ahead too much, but what is something that you're going to look to bring into that game, pending the results of Wednesday's game?
Yeah, so we're hoping that we have some momentum to build off of following Morgan State. And so in preparation for Morgan State, we got to make sure that we are not only ready to go on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, they're a great defensive team. They get after it and they pressure the ball. And so, again, feeding off of that momentum going into Fairfield, the things that we do to prepare for Morgan State is going to definitely help us prepare for Fairfield. And hopefully at the end of this week and going into next week, we're discussing some wins.
Absolutely, Coach. So looking even farther ahead, the Pride is 2 weeks off before you play 3 games in a 9-day span. So we may not speak again until that little lull in games, but how will you use that time to regroup in front of the holiday season.
Yeah, that the breaks are a great time to not only fine tune some of the things that we have in already, but also continue to add. So we're preparing for conference play. All these games are in preparation. All these practices are in preparation to start conference play, which starts in January, beginning of January. So in that break, in that time span, we'll be looking to add some things and fine tune what we already have in.
Excellent, Coach. So as I mentioned, 2 games this week. Morgan State Wednesday night, 7 p.m. at the Max Sports Complex. We hope to see you there. And then Saturday against Fairfield at 2 p.m. Coach, good luck this week, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.